Well, good morning, my friends. Welcome back to our first full week of 2021. This year, I have a feeling is going to be packed with growth and possibilities. At least that's how I'm embracing it. This past Friday, I had a mastermind with a couple of my colleagues where we truly sat down to figure out what do we want to take with us as we move into 2021 and what do we want to leave behind. So I invite you in today's micro learning to do that. But the topic of this week's micro learning is one that I found will serve me and will serve you. I was listening to the podcast with Blaine Bartlett, which is one of the podcasts that has been released on my Visionary Leaders podcast. And I want to share this quote with you. What he says is that people won't do what you ask them to. They will do what they think you will tolerate. I'm going to repeat that. People won't do what you ask them to. They will do what they think you will tolerate. With that quote in mind, I want to ask you today in this micro learning about setting the possibilities for 2021. How does that translate to you in your career if people won't give you what you ask, but rather what they notice you will tolerate? So the first question I want to ask you is around what are you currently doing that will show people what you are willing to accept? Now know that your actions is what speaks to people about what you will accept or not your words, okay? So when it comes to your career, if you want to get a promotion, if you want to expand your role, if you want to get to your next level of income, if you want to grow into a new area of expertise and leverage what you already know, how are you demonstrating to the people around you that you are ready for that promotion, that you are ready to expand your role, and that you are indeed the right person to take on the responsibilities that will bring about a higher level of income? And if you ask yourself that question honestly and answer it honestly, you will notice what kind of action you are taking, how you're executing, that will send a message to the people around you that you are serious about your career, that you respect yourself and what happens to your future. I'll give you an example. When I was going through my career in the corporate world, I always had a growth mindset where I wanted to take myself to the next level each day, each week, each month. So the people around me, my managers and other managers in different departments who I interacted with, noticed that I was always learning something. I was always involved in some committee or some group where I was expanding my knowledge. I was also contributing above and beyond my role. And they noticed that I was a go-getter. I was somebody who had aspirations and ambition, but also who wanted to make the workplace a better place, who wanted to build relationships across the organization, and someone who was going to school at night while working full time so that I could continue to give myself opportunities. This was what people were seeing coming from me. Now, you don't have to do any of the things that I mentioned. But what I am bringing this example about is to give you an idea of how the people who were looking at me, people in my work environment who were influencers, who could make a decision to give me a stretch assignment, how they were viewing me as somebody who was not going to sit in the same chair doing the same job for 20 years. But that was a choice that I took that choice. And I wanted to grow in my career. And so to grow in my career, I had to do something about it. I couldn't sit back and wait for my managers to decide, we think Ginny will be a really good fit for that role that we want to create to do X, Y, and Z. I was able to express to my managers my desires were around adding more value. They were able to see what was happening on their end and accordingly think of me for any of those new opportunities, which is exactly what happened within my organizations. And so every time there was something new coming up, they will think about, what can we use, what can we do to leverage Jenny's expertise and her desires to add more value in the workplace. So if you are not moving the needle in your desires right now, if you find yourself feeling a little bit stuck and that you're not getting noticed and you're not being tapped on the shoulder to do that thing that you would like to do next, question how much action am I demonstrating that I'm taking? How am I communicating, expressing, and giving feedback to the people around me about what I want to create? Because that feedback is what's going to allow them to know, if I have 10 people reporting to me and only 2 people are coming to me and saying that they want to do more and that they want to grow and they want to expand, and the other 8 are sitting around doing their jobs, guess what? As a manager, I'm going to assume that the 8 are fine. And so when opportunities come my way, I'm going to be thinking of the 2 that are constantly clamoring and saying, I would like to do more. So what this does, my friends, is that this puts the onus back on you to drive and be in the driver's seat of your life and your career. And that is how it works. No one's going to be looking out for us if we are not looking out for ourselves. So it always starts with us. What are you doing and what will you do differently in 2021 to let the people around you, the people who can make these decisions, know that you are serious about where you take your next level of impact, of contribution, of income, and that you are not going to tolerate sitting in the same chair for the next 10 years doing the same thing. Okay, so that is your challenge for you today, to answer the question, what actions am I taking? And how will those actions be perceived by the people around me? And so let's get in motion in 2021. Let's really get clear on what is it that you want to create in the next 12 months so that you can execute and be intentional, so you're not wasting your precious energy and time on things that won't matter. And with that, I want to invite you to join me if you're watching this video before January 11th, 2021. I want to invite you to join me at the Fearless Leaders Challenge, which is happening next week for 5 days, 12 to 1 p.m. EST. We're going to have 1 hour of training. I'll be bringing you my expert guest as well to join me, and we will be getting clear on what it is that you are currently thinking, your mindset today, and how that's impacting you. We're going to talk about your goals, your personal brand, how to identify it and how to articulate it powerfully. We're going to also speak about what are your biggest challenges and opportunities in 2021. And finally, we are going to help you create your massive action plan so that you can take very inspired action this year and get closer to a compelling future that will be so much clearer to you than it has ever been before. So to do that, you can go to fearlessleaderschallenge.com and register to join us starting next week. And I also would like to ask you to invite a friend, a colleague, someone who can make the experience even more enjoyable for you. And we're going to have a ton of fun as well. And we'll have prizes as you engage with the community and other leaders who are participating. You'll get to win daily prizes. And that makes it just a little bit more fun. And why not have some fun while we're also learning and growing? So I look forward to seeing you there at fearlessleaderschallenge.com, and we are going to have a blast. I'll talk to you tomorrow, and stay strong and know that you have potential. I'll see you soon.